Hi everyone and welcome back to another amazing video. My name is Venugopal and I'm from Team Cloudy ML. In this video, we'll be exploring ChatGPT. So initially, we will understand what is ChatGPT. That is, we will try to get an high-level understanding of ChatGPT, and then later on, we will try to build a basic website using ChatGPT. Okay, and then we will test ChatGPT by asking various interview-level DSA questions. Okay, so we'll check whether the ChatGPT is able to answer the interview-level DSA questions or not. And at last, we will end this video by understanding how we can utilize this chat GPT in different domains. Okay, so without wasting any further time, let's quickly dive into this video. First, let us understand what is chat GPT. So chat GPT is a large language model. So it is a chatbot that was created by OpenAI. So this ChatGPT was trained on top of a GPT family. So GPT is nothing but generative pre-trained transformers. Okay, so these are transformer-based generative models, which are also called as large language models. Okay, and these pretty much do this generative tasks. Okay, so OpenAI created this ChatGPT application, so which is basically a large language model based chatbot. Okay, and we can converse with this chat gpt as we converse with a normal human, and it will try to generate the correct responses based on our prompt that we are providing to the chat gpt. Okay, so this is like the high level understanding of chat gpt. Now, if you want to understand how it was trained or what is the architecture of GPT, you can refer few blogs to get that understanding. Okay, so on a high level overview, so ChatGPT is an AI-based application or AI-based chatbot that was developed by OpenAI for this conversational purpose. Okay, so that is what ChatGPT means. Okay, now, what we'll be doing is, so let us provide few prompts to ChatGPT and check whether it is able to create a basic website um, using Python or not. Okay, so basically we will try to create a basic website which will contain a form, and we will use the code that is provided by the ChatGPT response itself. Okay, so let us quickly try to do that. So let me just open the ChatGPT website. So this is the ChatGPT website. You can simply log in and try to come to this prompt. Now we have a text field here. Now what we'll be doing is we will try to provide a prompt. Okay. So now what we want to do is, so we want to create a Flask server which will contain a form, and the user can click on the submit button and submit their form uh, input. Right. So let us quickly do that. So write a Python Flask server, okay, with the following as root. So this is like the base root and should contain a form with input text fields. So let us put name, phone number, LinkedIn profile, and the form should contain a submit button as well, right? So and a submit button. Okay. So let us try to get the response for this particular prompt. Let's hope it generates it fastly. Yeah, so it is generating it fastly. So let me do one thing. Let me just split my screen and bring my VS Code as well. So I have installed the dependency here, that is the Flask dependency, and we will try to just copy the code here and try to run the Flask server. Okay, so cool. So it is able to generate the Python code. Now, for any of those who are familiar with the Flask, right, we need a Python file which contains the Python code, and we basically need two folders. One is templates folder and static folder. So for this purpose, I guess only templates folder is enough in order to contain or in order to like store all the HTML files. So let me just quickly create this templates. Cool. So we have got uh, HTML code and we have got a Python code. So let me just quickly copy this and paste it in app.py. Cool. And then create a HTML file as well. So let us say, so this is index.html, right? So we need to create a template by name index.html. And let me just quickly copy this code as well. Cool. So yeah, I think this will work. So let me just run this app.py. So Python free space app.py. Okay. If I try to run this, so it is running on this particular server. So let me just quickly open this. Yeah. So we have got these three input fields, and we can just put our names, phone number, and the LinkedIn. And if we try to submit it, we can see we are getting the name, phone number, and LinkedIn here, right? So if we look into this, we can see we have a simple form and we do not have any CSS, right? So let us try to ask some CSS as well. Okay. So let us ask, could you add some nice CSS to the form HTML, right? So let us try to get the response here. So it is trying to update the same index.html page, I guess. That is HTML file, I guess. So let us try to copy and paste it here, and let's see whether it is able to create a nice form or not. Okay, cool. So it is creating this style section which contains all the CSS required for our form. So it has taken the input type submit, input type text, and it has added also some CSS for form as well. So let's see how this will look. It will take some time for generating the code because a lot of people, like literally millions of users, are using this chat GPT at this point of time. So it will take some time to generate this response so that there is no much concurrency over the server that they are using. So this is the HTML code which the chat GPT has rewritten. So let me just copy this and replace this code with the one which was generated now. Let me save it, and yeah, so now let me just load this once again. Okay, so I need to run the server, I guess. So let us stop it and run it again. Cool. So yeah, so we have got the nice input fields. So this is a form which is centered here. It has written that as well. So this will give the form a more presentable look and feel. You can customize the CSS further for to match your specific needs, right? So this is like the basic template or boilerplate it has given. So we can use this as a base and we can try to build something on top of it. Okay, so we have got nice input fields, and let us try to enter our details. And if I click on submit button, it is giving this response. Okay, and this is fine, right? So we were trying to just test whether the chat GPT will be able to create a basic web application or not, and it did it, right? So whatever the specific information that we provided, it was able to generate code for that. And for writing this, it might have taken like 15 to 20 minutes for us, or let's say 10 minutes for some fast users. But here it happened within 1 minute, we could say. We have just provided the prompt that is basically our requirements, and it just generated our required code. And we just copied and pasted it here, and it was running totally fine, right? So this is one good thing. It can speed up our development process, or if you have any doubt regarding a code or anything, you can just give some prompt with your requirements. It will be able to generate a few lines of code. Okay, and in some cases we need to explicitly mention where the code might fail so that it will try to correct it. So so let's see how this works for data structures and algorithms question. So this was like creating basic application, right? And this is very standard. Now, when we go to the data structures and algorithms part, let us see whether it is able to generate the logic or not. Okay, so let me just quickly stop this server, delete this, close this VS Code, and yeah, so let us create a new chat. Okay, now here, what we'll be doing is we will try to test this chat GPT using three questions. So one is merge to sorted linked list. So this is basically a easy question. Okay, so this is pretty much two-pointer approach. We can use the two-pointer approach in order to solve this. So this is like easy question. So we will try to uh, first give this question to the chat GPT and let us see whether it is able to generate the response or not. Okay, response in the sense the correct code or not. And then we will ask the chat GPT this wildcard matching question, which is hard question in dynamic programming. Okay, and we will see whether it is able to solve this or not. Okay. And the last question, which is present here, it is very recent question, and this is something that the model might not have seen. So let us see whether the chat GPT will be able to generate response for this question or not. Okay. So let us first start with merge to sorted linked list. So let me just copy the question. Okay. And paste it here, and to complete the following snippet. I will provide the snippet as well, which is present in our uh, lead code uh, lead code platform. So this is the snippet that is present. So these codes are present in lead code, and pretty much every product based company tries to ask questions which are similar to the questions that are present in lead code. Okay, so that's what we are trying to do here. We are trying to test the chat GPT using this interview level DSA questions. Okay, so let me just copy this uh, boiler code and paste it here, and let us see whether it is able to get the code or not. Okay, so we are getting some implementation here, so let us see whether it's working or not. Okay, so here we can see, so this is the function merge to lists, so which is similar to this one. And so it has created a dummy variable, and yeah, so it is using two pointers, so that is list one and list two pointers, and it is using another third pointer which is storing the current one. So it is providing the explanation as well. So we have just provided the question, and we told the chat GPT to generate the code for this. So it has generated the code as well as the explanation. So this chat GPT says this solution uses a dummy node to store the head of the merged list. It then iterates through both list 1 and list 2 and appends the smaller node to the current next until one of the lists is exhausted. Finally, it appends the remaining code from the non-existing list, that is not empty list, from the current dot next. Okay, so I think this will work. So let me just quickly copy this and paste it here, and let's see whether this is working or not. So let me just quickly run this, and yeah, so it was accepted for all the three cases. And let me just submit this, and let's see whether it is passing all the cases or not. Yeah, so it was accepted, and it passed all the test cases as well. So this was easy level question, and I would say it passed this question pretty easily. Now let us try to ask a hard question, that is a wildcard matching from dynamic programming. Okay, so let me just copy this question, paste it here, and complete the code. Okay, so let me just provide this boilerplate code as well. Okay, instead of code, we can specify following snippet, right? Let us see whether it is able to complete this or not. Okay, it is able to generate the solution, I guess. So it is generating the solution class. Mhm. So it is initializing a DP matrix, which seems correct to me. So let's see whether it is able to complete this or not. So this is like wildcard matching question. This is very famous question from DP hard. So we have given input string S and a pattern P, and we need to implement a wildcard pattern matching algorithm which supports question mark and star. Okay, where question mark matches a single character and asterisk matches a sequence of characters. Okay, so you can look at these inputs and outputs, and you can try to understand what this actually means. So we are much interested towards whether ChatGPT is able to solve this or not. So here it has generated the code as well as explanation as well. So this solution uses dynamic programming to solve the problem, which is absolutely correct. It creates a 2D Boolean array pool, DP, with DP of ij represents the first ith character in S can match with the first jth characters in P. So it is providing the explanation as well. So let us see whether this code is working or not. Let me just copy this and paste it here, and let me just quickly submit it instead of running. and it worked, right? So it worked for this question as well. So it was able to solve this famous deeply hard question as well. Now what we will do is we will try to ask this chat GPT a more recent question, that is weekly contest 331. So this was held very recently on Feb 5th, I guess. So we will try to ask this question to the chat GPT model, because chat GPT might not have seen this question during its training data, because this is like a very recent one which was organized or conducted in this month itself. Okay, so this is like 2023 data, I would say, and the difficulty is hard as well. So let us see whether ChatGPT is able to generate the logic for this question or not. Let me just quickly copy and paste it here, and we will instruct the ChatGPT to complete the code snippet, and we will provide this code snippet as well. This is the code snippet, and let us see whether it is able to generate the answer for this question or not. Okay. So meanwhile, let us try to read the question. So we have two fruit baskets containing n fruits each, and you are given two zero indexed integer arrays, basket 1 and basket 2, representing the cost of fruit in each basket. Now you want to make both baskets equal. To do so, you can use the following operation as many times as you want. Choose two indices I and j and swap ith fruit of basket 1 with the jth fruit of basket 2. So this is one operation. And the second operation is the cost of swap is minimum of basket 1 of I, comma basket of 2 of j. So this is like cost for the swap. Okay. Now two baskets are considered equal if sorting them according to the fruit cost makes them exactly the same baskets. Okay. And we need to return the minimum cost to make the baskets equal using this operation. Okay. So I feel this is like a DP problem which can be solved using dynamic programming. So let us see our ChatGPT has generated the correct code for this or not. So let me just quickly copy this solution class and paste it here, and let me just submit this. Let us see it is able to get the answer right now. And surprisingly, it has failed for this particular test case, right? So it has given wrong answer. So let me just quickly copy this and tell the same thing to ChatGPT. So it has failed for the following test case. Let us see whether it will be able to correct its mistake or not. Mhm. So here what we are trying to do is, so this was the code that was provided for the initial question, right? Now once we have tested this answer, we got a test case where it was failing. So we are just providing that feedback to this chat GPT, and we are trying to rectify whatever the issue that is present with the code. So it is saying you are correct. I apologize for the mistake. Here is a corrected implementation of the solution. So let me see whether it's different or not. I think it's same. It is trying to generate same, I guess. Oh no. So it has added few more if else. So there is elif that is added. So let us see it is able to generate or not. So let me just quickly copy this and paste it here. And let us see it is passing all the test cases or not. Okay. So it has failed for this particular test case. I think it is similar to the previous one. So it is the same test case. It has again failed. So this is 4222 and 1412. So it is again failing for this test case. So it is giving output as 4, and the expected is 1. So let us try to instruct the same for to the chat GPT. So let us say the it is still failing for the above test case. The actual output is 1, but the code is returning 4 as the answer, right? So yeah, 4 as the answer. So we have given a like we have provided the output as well, like the actual output is 1 and the code is returning 4. So let us see it is able to rectify this mistake or not. So this will be our last try. So if it fails for this as well, we can conclude that the chat GPT is working better on the scene data, whereas this is like completely new problem that was appeared in the recent contest, and it is unable to generate logic for this question, right? So let us see whether it will be able to correct the mistake that is present in the code. So let us see. It is taking a lot of time to generate the code. Yet let us wait for a few seconds, and if it is not generating, we can move on to the next part of the video. So let us wait for a few seconds. Cool. So I think it will fail again as well, because I have tested for this question previously and it failed for all the prompts that I provided. So just to show you, I wanted to provide this prompts in front of you so that you will also get a proof whether it's working or not. So for the first two prompts, it has failed, and for the third prompt as well, I am pretty sure it will fail. So since it is not generating, let us try to move on to the next section of the video. So yeah, it is showing an error occurred. If the issue persists, please contact us through help center. Yeah, I think the servers are failing at some point. So from this, what we can say that, so whatever the data the chat GPT was trained on, it is able to generate good response for those questions. But these questions, like these questions, DSA questions, actually require some logical thinking to be applied in order to solve these questions. So which is not being done by the chat GPT. Okay. So far, I think these will not be able to, like chat GPT will not be able to solve this interview level hard questions or medium questions, which are not seen by the model actually. Whatever the questions that I asked previously, like these two questions are pretty popular questions. Now this is the question that was asked very recently and the model has not seen it. And this is like a dynamic programming hard question, and generating logic for this is not being done by the ChatGPT model, right? So we can infer that thing from this experiment. Okay. Now the next thing and the last thing that we want to explore is how we can utilize ChatGPT in different domains. Okay, so we will primarily focusing on three domains, that is marketing, programming, and content creation. So let us first explore like how we can use ChatGPT in programming. Okay, in programming, as we have seen, like when we were creating a basic Flask-based application, it was pretty much helpful, right? So we won't say it will be replacing the developers, because uh, we can say we can use this chat gpt as a tool for developing web applications. Let's say you have some doubt or you have some requirements for which you want to write a code which might be pretty simple, and you don't want to write each and every line of code. What you can do is you can just provide the requirements and a good prompt to the chat gpt, and it will generate a well commented good looking code as well, and you can just copy and paste it and tweak it based on your requirement, and then try to create on top of that. So that can be done in the programming itself in the similar way. So this is like one part. You can use it for different parts of programming, like for different languages as well, like Python, JavaScript, Julia, any other language. If you have any doubt, you can just um, ask the chat gpt and you will get the answer as well. Okay, so that's the main importance of ChatGPT in the programming. We can fasten up our development process so that we won't spend much time in writing the code. Rather, we will be more focused on building the logic for the business, and coding is something that will be taken care mostly by the model itself. Okay. And one more thing we need to remember is, for understanding the code that is written by the ChatGPT, the understanding should be present by the user as well in order to understand the code and put it together. So previously, where we have developed this fast-based application, let's say I was aware that I need to put that code in app.py file and I need to put that HTML code in templates folder. Okay. Now let's say there is some X person who is not aware of all this stuff, and he comes and asks the same prompt. So it will through that code, but he or she won't be able to understand where to put that code and how to run the whole program, right? So it is important that we are aware of whatever the technology we are dealing with and whatever we are searching in the chat gpt. Okay, so that was one thing where we can use chat gpt in programming. And one more domain that we want to explore is marketing. So in marketing we can use ChatGPT very well. So we can try to search for few terms that might optimize the search engine optimization. So let's say you have created a website or a blog, and you want to find find some terms that are very SEO friendly, that is search engine optimization friendly. You can quickly do that using ChatGPT. You can provide all the requirements or the domain information to the ChatGPT, and it will try to fetch a few terms or keywords that are highly optimized for the SEO part. Okay, so that is related to the marketing. Now, the third domain, which is booming a lot this time, that is content creation. It This chat gpt can ease out the content creation very well. So it can provide you the basic stuff and you can build something really great on top of that, right? So let's say you want to write a LinkedIn post. So you can just ask the chat gpt to create a LinkedIn post, which should contain the following things. You can just mention them as a points. Then ChatGPT will create a nice little paragraph which will contain all the information that we have provided, and you can just tweak the post or tweak the text that is generated by the ChatGPT a little bit, and then try to post it on LinkedIn, right? And the same applies for blogs as well. Rather, like using the same content that was generated by ChatGPT is not suggested, and um, it is not acceptable as well. So what you can do is you can try to get the basic structure or a boilerplate for your blog or any content that you want to write, and you can try to build something great on top of that boilerplate that was generated by ChatGPT, right? So these were three domains in which we can use this ChatGPT aggressively. So this is mostly related to the text, and there are other similar models that are related to image as well. So you can create nice videos, nice voices, nice images as well, and you can use them for content creation as well, right? So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you have understood what is actually ChatGPT and whether it is able to solve all the DSA problems or all the programming related problems or not. And we have also seen where we can utilize this chat gpt and how we can utilize this chat gpt in different domains, that is marketing, programming, and content creation. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you like this video. So if you like this video, please do click on the subscribe button and click on the bell icon as well, so that you will get a notification whenever we upload a new video. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching so far. Let's meet in next video. Till then, keep learning, keep hustling. Thank you.